I've realized that something that becomes more and more common as we grow up is experiencing disappointment. Like, expectations are one of the biggest soul crushers we have, especially when it comes to expectations about other people and expectations for ourselves. But today, let's just focus on the expectations we hold for other people, because I think it's really important to talk about it, because most of the times we are the one breaking our own hearts, not actually other people. I am Paula, the girl that sits here every week to talk about things that happen to all of us, but that we don't really talk about enough. And today, let's just talk about disappointment in relationships, any type of relationship, not only romantic. It can be your friendships, the relationship you have with your parents, with your family, any type of relationship. Because I don't know if you've noticed, when you build a relationship, at first everything is great, it's fun, and then as time goes by, you start realizing that that person probably doesn't meet your standards, or you just find yourself wishing they did more. But like, is it normal? Is it okay? Does that mean that you should just cut that person off your life? Let's talk about it. I'm just going to say this. I think we wish other people did more or did different because we are willing to do that much for them, because that's how we express care and love. So when they don't do as much for us, we feel disappointed. But ask yourself this: did you give the other person the chance to not disappoint you? Or were you just playing that little silly game where you just set expectations and standards for other people to meet, but you just never tell them? Like, you just keep it to yourself and wish they act a certain way? Because if that's your case, don't worry, me too. I think we all have expectations that we just don't share, because we want people to do things for us because they want to do them, not because we tell them to do them. But that's very unrealistic. It's sad, but it's unrealistic. At the end, you will just end up breaking your own heart. And let's be honest, life's already really hard and filled with heartbreaks. Why would you do that to yourself on purpose? I know it sucks, but doesn't matter how much we want to, we just can't read each other's minds. Like, you are probably disappointing other people and you don't even know it, because maybe you don't meet the expectations or the standards they have for you in their minds, and you have no idea. And that's more common than you think. But let me explain it to you with a very cliche example. Like, let's imagine that you're a girl and you have a boyfriend, and you want your boyfriend to give you flowers from time to time just because they're cute. They're kind of like a little reminder of how much he cares. But you don't tell them, because you don't want him to give you flowers because you tell him to. You want him to give you flowers because he wants to give you flowers. Because if he gives you flowers just because you tell him to, then they wouldn't really mean that he cares. I know all the girls know what I mean. But you don't tell him. You don't tell him that you want flowers, and eventually he will probably not get you flowers, because for him, they don't really mean that much. Like, for him, they're just flowers. They don't mean that he cares or doesn't care. They're just flowers, so he never actually gets you the flowers. And after a while, you will start feeling that he's probably not good enough, or that you could do better, or that you are not as loved as you wish you were. But does the fact that he doesn't give you flowers make him a bad boyfriend? No. It just means that you're two different people that have two different ways of showing care, and you just happen to be disappointed at him, and he probably doesn't even know, because for him, that action would not end in disappointment, because for him that doesn't mean anything. Just because you are the type of person that likes to surprise others with little gifts from time to time just to show them how much you care, doesn't mean that everybody else is like that. Listen, it's normal that we all project our own willingness to help and support and care and love others, and we naturally expect that they give us the same back, assuming that they share the same values and commitments and that they want the same that we want, because in our heads what we want probably feels like the best option, but it might not be like that for everyone. But these projections, especially when they are not communicated, when you just keep them to yourself, are just going to lead to hidden expectations that people are probably just not going to meet, because we are all different and they didn't even know that you were expecting certain particular things from them. We're all different. Our capacity to give, our love languages, how we express that we care for others, how we approach obstacles, what we want for the future. There are just so many things that just change from person to person, and it's very unrealistic to expect everyone to behave in a way that feels perfect for you when you don't even tell them. So does that mean that now you just can't expect good things from other people and you just have to settle for whatever they want to give you? No. It's okay to have expectations. It's okay to want to feel loved and cared for in a way that feels good for you. But what matters the most is to know what to do with those expectations. But don't worry, you don't even have to think about it. I made the homework and brought the answer to you. You just have to communicate clearly. From now on, try to continue with your life and start your relationships without assuming that the other people know what you expect. Doesn't matter how obvious what you expect looks. It might not be that obvious for others. Just don't make other people compete with the version of themselves you have created in your mind, or the version of themselves you want them to be, without even telling them. Because that's not fair. We cannot read each other's minds, but you know what we can do? Talk. We can talk and we can tell other people what makes us feel good, what makes us feel loved, and what we want from them. And you know what's the best part of just communicating our expectations from the beginning, or as soon as we feel like the other people are starting to disappoint us? That it gives everyone the space to decide if they want to maintain and build and strengthen that relationship or not. Like, maybe you will find some people that say, you know what, I'm sorry, but what you expect from me is just way too much. And you can say, okay, that's fine. Thank you for telling me. We are not going to waste nobody's time. Perfect. That way, you don't have to build a relationship with someone that's not even going to give you what you expect. And it's also amazing because you know that if you're clear with what you want, the people that decide to stay with you are making a conscious decision to do so, because they already know what you want. They already know what to expect. They already know how you feel loved, how you feel cared, and they're okay with that, and they're willing to know that, and that is amazing. If you think about it, it's so beautiful to be chosen like that, like to have someone know exactly who you are and how to make you feel loved, and that they decide they want to do it because they care for you that much. That's beautiful, and we all deserve to be cared for like that. We all deserve to be chosen, and I think we should give the other people the chance to choose us and to give us what we actually want, instead of just not saying anything and end up feeling disappointed at everyone. I think that we should all just collectively decide to just be honest with one another and just express how we feel and what we want in a natural way without making it like awkward, just so we can build relationships easier and more consciously. I honestly think that's the most peaceful way to live your adulthood and to actually build true and long-lasting relationships. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for being here. Remember that you are not alone, and see you next week.